Does a sports injury have you sidelined? Are you ready to get back in the game quickly and safely? With the most up-to-date technology to relieve pain and speed recovery, Dr. Michael Scarpone and his skilled team understand your needs. Beginning this August through October, Dr. Scarpone will be available Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturday mornings from 8 to 8:30 a.m., treating all athletes between junior high through college level. For more information and to see what other players and coaches are saying, find us on Facebook or visit us online.
Go.
Hey, welcome to week 10. Along with Maverick, I'm Goose, and Viper is behind the scenes. And yeah, and we still don't have Sobleski, seriously. I've missed him all 10 weeks.
I miss Brian.
I know. Moment of silence. Okay, that's done. Week 10. Man, week 10. Yeah. It's good stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I can't believe we got this far.
I know, without killing each other. Well, that's what your wife's for, is to kill you, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to go home and get killed. I shouldn't get killed at work.
Doesn't happen. All right, Buckdale Big Red. Big Red came off the depths of the looking for a playoff spot to now hosting a playoff after wins over Morgantown and the Canadian Civil War Fed Laurier, which got them D1 points in both games. They get Buckdale coming in. Buckdale's coming off a terrible loss. Big Red should take care of this, and what people thought might not happen 2 weeks ago, they're hosting a playoff game in week 11.
Yeah, I mean, it's Big Red. Big Red made a major turnaround. I mean, not that they had fallen off the face of the earth, but when they had lost those 2 games, there was some question mark. If they drop one of these, maybe they don't make the playoffs. Now we're looking at them hosting again, right back where Big Red should be, and as always.
Yep.
Buckdale. You know, people hear Buckdale. It's a good rivalry between Buckdale and Big Red.
Yep.
They've had some great games over the years. This is not a great Buckdale team. Big Red's playing better than them. They should handle business. They're not going to be overlooking them because it's Buckdale. So you feel like they're going to go in, they're going to handle business, and they'll be hosting in Harding Stadium next week.
The interesting thing now, once it shakes down through Saturday, is who they're going to be hosting, because
that's going to be a big question mark.
Really,
who's coming to town?
Who's coming to Harding? Another one Friday night. Weird East Liverpool. Weird's going to finish their season because their bye is week 11. Liverpool's looking to finish, I believe, the season 4-6, which is a big upgrade over last year.
Yeah.
I watch Weird. They're struggling. Obviously, when you play that many freshmen, you're playing 8 freshmen, and your starting quarterback is on the shelf. It's just, I still give credit to the kids who continue to play, because it's still a whole lot easier to quit than go out and get your head handed to you every Friday night. And
I mean, you have to tip your cap to the kids because they're working hard. They're trying to improve. And in the next couple of years, you could see a Weird taking a step up because all these young kids are taking their lumps now. They're playing an East Liverpool team, not a great East Liverpool team, but an improving East Liverpool team. I've seen them play some solid games. Yep. They beat Oak Glen. The game they lost to Indian Creek I was at, they lost by a couple scores, but really they hung with Indian Creek the whole way. I mean, this is a tough team. I unfortunately for Weir expect another kind of rough night for them.
Yep. They have a good. I like you said, with all the young kids playing. The
future's bright.
Absolutely. Just make sure all those kids come back out. Big game down in Magnolia, Catholic Central and Magnolia. Central's coming off another just brutal loss. That's 3 losses. And they're 6-3, sitting at number 8 in Region 23. Unless East Canton upsets Mogador, pretty much Central's in the playoff picture. Even if they beat Magnolia, they don't finish higher than 7th, I think. Central has talent, but so does Magnolia. Magnolia has 1 loss in the opening game against Lindsley. I still think they're the best team in Class A right now, with Rogowski just being a stud. This is a big game for the Crusaders and the Blue Eagles if they want to continue to.
I mean, obviously for Magnolia, just like for Madonna, you beat Central, you get a pretty good point jump in Class A in West Virginia. Central, on the other hand, devastating loss. They had Madonna they were up 2 scores for 3 quarters.
Yep.
They controlled that game until the 4th quarter. Madonna came back and beat them by an extra point.
Yeah.
It's just time they got to bounce back. They have the talent to play with Magnolia. They got to put last week behind them, come out, play like they did for maybe the first half for an entire game, and they have a chance to beat Magnolia. But That game could go either way. You don't want to leave it in the hands of does East Canton lose to Mogador, because
you don't want that
crazy
issue.
things happen. Even though Mogador should win that game. And the odd thing is, Mogador, if you lose and Mogador wins, you get the right to go be the next team to play Mogador.
Exactly.
So you're gonna have to travel. So for Central, it's important. You want to go in, take care of business, play well, get your confidence back, and be ready for the playoffs.
So that's going to be another good small school game.
Yeah.
Whoever missed the game at Harding, just
That
because
was a
they
classic.
didn't want to go see two small schools play,
that was a
a
classic.
good football game. All right, Buckeyes going to Harrison for the Vales Trophy. This is a big game for the Huskies because of winning, they're guaranteed a playoff spot. Not quite sure where they're going to go yet. They either maybe go to St. Clairsville or Ironton.
Yeah.
But all you got to do is get in, and this will be the second team under Kropka to get in the playoffs with the win. Buckeyes coming off of just a thrashing by Creek. Harrison, obviously, we know what they have. We know how good they are. They took care of business last week against UL. I see Harrison taking care of business and going to week 11.
Oh yeah, Buckeyes coming off a rough weekend. Harrison's got their eye on making the postseason. They know they just have to come out and win. I just think they're a better team. Hyphon, Nick Pellegrin, Rayshawn Mitchell,
Or
Nate
Rasheen.
Olmsted,
Or Rayshawn?
Rasheen. Sorry, I can't speak to that. Rasheen Mitchell, Nate Olmsted. They have some ball players on that team that can just make plays. I expect Harrison Central to handle business and be ready for week 11.
You've never heard of Rasheen Mitchell before?
I've said his name 1,000 times.
Except in front of the
I heard
camera,
it.
it's Rayshawn.
I heard an announcer do that during baseball season, and I made fun of him. So everyone send your emails, make fun of me. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Jam's going to Brook. Brook's coming off beating Weir, but they sat Buckmelder, who has a hamstring problem. He's supposed to be healthy to go. Raleigh Mason played. And obviously Brooks had the struggles. Jam's getting better under Coach Rick Goodrich. This could be, a 2-win team and a 3-win team sometimes may not be a good football game. But I think it's going to be a really good football game.
Yeah, I think this is a good matchup. Brook, obviously, what they did to Weir's a struggling team, but they did it with no Alec Buckmelter.
Yeah.
For all the talk overall, you put that much on Weir. You did it without your best player. So, this is a Brook team that actually I think they're better than their record shows by a long shot. JM is obviously an improving team, even though the record might not show it. I think this is a fairly even matchup, and it could be a fun one to watch. I think if Buckmelter's good to go, and with Raleigh Mason back, that gives them an extra weapon. That's just I expect them
that they really haven't had.
Yeah.
This is going to be week 10, and they've never had those two guys in the backfield for more than three plays.
Yeah, 3 plays at the beginning.
3 plays in week 1.
Game, so.
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
All right, we have 3
games.
games.
Get to see what they would have looked like.
Exactly. And then we have 3 games on Saturday. First game is Saturday afternoon, Point Pleasant at Oak Glen. Oak Glen obviously has been struggling up and down. They're coming. I'm not a big bye week fan of the West Virginia. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world, to be honest with you. But if the bye week ever came at the right time for Oak Glen, it came this week, to where they can regroup, refocus. But it's a Point Pleasant team that's still trying to make the playoffs in Class AAA, going up from AA. If Oak Glen plays well, Oak Glen can beat them. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, this is a rematch of a playoff game from last year. Point Pleasant knocked Oak Glen out of the West Virginia playoffs last year. I would expect, when you look at things, Oak Glen's been kind of struggling a little. Point Pleasant they're still in the playoff hunt.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, see, you would expect Point Pleasant to win, but this is the same Point Pleasant team that we thought was going to take care of Brook down there.
Yeah.
And Brook ended up coming back and beating them. So this should be an interesting game. Oak Glen could really get a boost in confidence going into the next season, because they have a junior quarterback in Bub Haddix. They have some good young talent. Get a little boost, take care of Point Pleasant, and it could be an interesting game to watch.
Oak Glen could go win-win and still make the playoffs at 6-4. Yeah. Unfortunately, making the playoffs at 6-4 means you're 15 or 16. You're going to go to Wayne or Bridgeport, and that's a long trip.
Travel to play a really, really,
really good team. Exactly. Because by hands down, never mind. All right, Toronto goes to Madonna Saturday night, and this is the ultimate in-trap games for the Blue Dons.
Yeah.
Because they're coming off a huge emotional win at Catholic Central. Next week they get, right now, is an undefeated Clay Patel team. So Doug Taylor's problem, I don't want to say problem, but Doug, the coach, Madonna's coach, is to get the kids to quit looking at Central, not look forward to Clay Patel, and they look at a Toronto team that offensively has talent.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they've had their issues sometimes stopping people, but offensively, Toronto can get some things done with the Glenn brothers and Nate Stewart and Chadwick and Charles Ross. I mean, they could get some things done.
Yeah, I mean, this Toronto team leaves you scratching your head sometimes because one week they look like world beaters. They explode for, 500 yards of offense. And then the next week, Bellsville's defense stops them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
This is a game Madonna has to stay focused, and a theme for them throughout the year, besides maybe the Wheeling Central, Bishop Donahue, and Central games, the rest of their games is jump out on this team, let them know they can't play with you, and put them away early.
Yeah.
That's what they have to do with Toronto, because if it's close and Ches Glenn and Blaze Glenn and all the guys you just mentioned start popping a couple plays and they get some confidence, it's a new game.
Absolutely.
Impose your will. Your line is probably better, and then you have Comas. You have the best player in the field in Comas.
Yep.
Take advantage of that. Put them away. If not, Toronto, again, like we said, they're a dangerous team,
They are a
especially
dangerous team.
offensively.
I mean, you have to like what Madonna did last week because Central had them going for a while, and for Madonna to come back and put back-to-back drives like that together, I mean that's just talented stuff, and that's just really good football by the Blue Dons.
When people ask me about it, I told them if it came down to late and it was a one-score game, there was a guy named Ross Comas that would be a difference maker.
And he made some moves, man.
And he was. He made some big plays in that game down the stretch. And that's what he does. That's the scary thing is when they're in a close game, he has that confidence, that swagger that he can make plays.
Yeah.
He's a heck of a player.
And you look, Osmond had 88 yards rushing, 80 in the second half.
Second half.
I mean, that's just, and Elliot Nero, and they got Bowser and Biandillo, and they're just got talented kids.
Weapons.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
they have weapons. And they are still a force to be reckoned with in Class A West
I
Virginia.
agree.
It's not, and there's no doubt about that. All right, last game, the one you'll be at after you go get fed after you get fed this week by them. Edison at Creek. I know Coach McKenzie may not say it, and I know Coach Connor probably will say it. It's just my guess. But 2 years ago, they were in the same spot, reversed. And Edison, a win put Edison in the playoffs, and they went to Indian Creek and got beat. Since I'm old, I don't remember the score, but I remember them getting beat. And Andrew can remember that. Andrew can keep telling his kids, boys, we beat them 2 years ago. They're coming and expecting to beat us, and there's no guarantee at an 8-2 Indian Creek team makes the playoffs. There's zero guarantee an 8-2 team makes the playoff based on what's going on. So this is a must-win for Creek to make sure they get in. And unfortunately, from all the numbers say, even a win puts them at 9-1. They're not hosting a playoff game.
No,
they're going on the road.
Yeah,
so you need to win to make sure you're in the playoffs and make sure you get the best seed possible to go on the road.
Yeah, and the thing about Indian Creek though is the crazy focus they had last week. It would have been really easy to kind of overlook Buckeye Local.
Absolutely.
And they went out and they took care of business. They need to do that again this week. This is a fun rivalry game. Coach Connor and Coach McKenzie have really built up something there.
Yep.
They have their sportsmanship banquet on Wednesday. They have their traveling trophy. Creek actually retired it because if you win it 4 straight years, you retire the trophy. Well, they won it their 4th straight year last year, so they retired it, so they brought out the new one. It's a fun game, and we've seen it the last couple of years. I mean, even last year, it was kind of the same situation. Indian Creek needed a win to get in the playoffs. Edison could have taken it from them. Indian Creek ended up winning and went into the playoffs. The year before that, Edison was the one trying to get in the playoffs, and Creek took it from them. So it seems like one of these teams has a chance to get in the playoffs each year, and the other one can take it away from them, which that adds to a great rivalry. Is that you can hurt the other team's feelings
Exactly.
with one game. So it should be it should be fun just because these kids all know each other and they've really bought into the rivalry that's been developed between them. So I'm looking forward to being there for the 3rd straight year.
And you just know Andrew Connor's looking at his kids and going, okay, look what Edison did against St. Clairsville. Look what Edison did against Martins Ferry. Look what Edison did against Bel Air.
This Edison team is playing hard.
Once again, they're a team they're better than the record.
Yeah,
they are. And but you look at the last 3 weeks after they went through their big time adversity during the St. Clairsville week. I mean, you got to give those kids and the coaching staff a whole bunch of credit because they haven't folded tent at all.
To go to Ferry and win, and then last week against Bel Air, who's going to the playoffs probably.
Yeah,
they're a yard away.
Yeah, last play of the game.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. So, I mean, Yeah, Indian Creek better have their A game.
Buckle them up, baby.
Yeah.
Buckle them up. Next week we'll talk about the first week of the Ohio playoffs and the last week of West Virginia.
We're looking at potentially 4 Ohio teams still playing.
4 Ohio teams still playing, and
Looking at Madonna and maybe Oak Glen.
look at Madonna. If Madonna goes win-win, that should give them 2 home playoff games. I mean,
Which will be nice
that's
for
huge.
us.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh, I mean for them too. Yeah.
It'll be, yeah, them too.
Yeah,
but traveling in Class A West Virginia football means you go really long places to play a football game. Hence, a couple years ago when I went to Pocahontas County to watch the Dons, that was way down there.
That's a drive.
Okay, see you next week.
We're going.